Struth, where do I start? There's so much to talk about. The mess in here is just unmanageable. I've got to have a huge cleanup because I've lost so much stuff for the Fairlane, and I think I talked about it later on. I've never lost anything on a car that I've done or a motorcycle, but this car is just crap everywhere. Anyway, went and saw Jason. I call him Jason XW, Jason Hill. He's doing the trimming for the wagon and sedan, and he's also going to do the trimming for the Plymouth. And like an idiot, I went up there because he did the seat frames on these and some piping repairs. Oh, did I show you the piping repairs? I didn't show you the piping repairs. I'll show you the piping repairs. Just a minute. You can't even see where he's done it. He's nicked a bit of the fabric underneath from in here, and you can just see a join, and you can just see a join. That was all hanging out, remember? So he's done absolutely beautiful work. It's me who hasn't been doing beautiful work. I kind of stuffed them up when I was putting them together, particularly the driver's seat. It was damaged. There was something wrong with the cover. It's all been cut and sort of joined and all this sort of stuff from where it had that height adjuster repair before I got the car. Anyway, so lots of cleaning up to do. A couple of videos after this and we'll be finished with the Fairlane. In time for concrete being poured at the other place and the start of the XAs. And there was something else I was going to say. Got to clean up. Oh, what was the other thing? So, there's half an hour on this video on the Fairlane, part 33, and about another 20 minutes or so up at the other place. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoy. All these components have cleaned up really, really well. You can detach that with just 4 little Phillips heads, and here's the lid there. It's got a couple of mildly corroded springs on it, but I don't think it's enough to worry about. Okay, so now comes the task of looking for hardware for these things. And the armrests, I've got some armrest stuff there. These are beautiful, look at this. Isn't that a gorgeous colour? So much nicer than a stark silver. I think it's divine. I've also got to check out that spark in the quadrant. There's a bad earth, I think. I've just got to check that out. I'm just going to look for these other nuts and bolts and screws and things. I can't put the front door trims on until, for my XC table, until I have, what was I just talking about? I can't put the front door trims on until I've done the mirrors. Okay, and they're the screws, the little caps for the seat pockets, which are another thing that I can't find. So they're going to be in a box somewhere, but I'm just not sure. So what we've got here. This is what happens when you're disorganised. Damn it, what have I done with them? Oh, no. Holy crap, where the hell are they? That's all door lock stuff. Oh, maybe they're in here. Oh, here they are. Right, let's stick some door pockets on. Which no one needs to see that. I've got to secure those, what are they called? Venetian things. Quarter window Venetian things. The posi drive fits really well. Oh, I forgot to put that bit on there. There's a little trim that goes in the door. I haven't put it on yet. Look at this closely. It is far from perfect. I'm just not perturbed about it though. I just want to park this console and see what it looks like. I've got to take the top of the T-bar, the selector shifter thing off. I think it's a 3mm Allen key. Just a minute. It must be this one. Yeah, it'll be this one here. Oops. That's the one. Come on, you. Get off. No, you don't press it. Now, the problem with this is it's going to, whoops, it's got to go under there. Just got to, I've got to put the foam and everything in. I just want to see how it sits because, oh, that did not sound good. The other thing is I want to see exactly how far it is off that, off the bracket on the floor. that noise actually bothered me, so I'm going to find out what that was. I still don't know what it was. There's a grommet, like a thing that goes around there, and it plugs in up the top. Well, the armrests are in, the Venetians are in, the console's in. The quadrant I bought, have a look at it, I'll show you. I bought it some time ago. Actually, I bought it straight after I bought the car, because the other one was busted. It's a little bit dirty. I'm not going to put that in yet. I just want to clean it up. The other thing I didn't do is I didn't put the cigarette lighter back in the way it was. It had this in it. There was no bracket for the bulb, the globe, to illuminate it. And it was really mangy inside, which I didn't want. That bit there. So, these cigarette lighters and things came from that wonderful fella, I can't remember his name, who donated, so that's not been used, who donated buckets and buckets of things like interior lights and all that sort of stuff. It just looks like a 3/16 thread. Look at this. So I can use the correct knob with the better cigarette lighter. And that's pretty well knackered, but no one's going to smoke in this car. The last time I smoked a cigarette in a car was 1993. Haven't done that in a long while. I had a gear, an XT gear, and the back window there was a warm night, and I used to just put the smoke out the window, and the wind would blow the ash off, and it blew the whole dick off and went in the back window and burnt the back seat. Then another time I had one in my mouth, and I went to take it out, and it was stuck to my lips, and my fingers pulled the lid end off, we used to call it the dick, and landed in my lap, and I nearly had a prank. I'm Mount Dandenong Road, so I just thought, you know what, never again. Anyway, so that can sit in there. It hasn't got the illumination, but at least it's a reputable and it will be a reliable source of power for some USB device. So, after I wash that quadrant, there's the cigarette lighter. Oh, the ashtray, I'll show you the ashtray. That's working, the illumination for it, which is cool. I forgot to put that window guide in here. Now that has to be secured to the mirror, and I've got that in. So on the speaker shell, that has to go on the other side as well, but I can't find the metal bit. I'll put that somewhere. Tray came up beautifully. That's just had a quick bit of satin black on it, but I've also just cleared inside. So it'll probably catch fire if you let it smoke and put it in there. That can be taken out, but I did it because it's Bakelite, or at least it smells like Bakelite, and it was all sort of worn. I think I don't know, buttered his smokes in here or something. He didn't do it there, because that's really, really clean. I'm really happy with it. So that can go in the car now. Those springs that were either side of that sliding door, they kind of slide into a rebate on the door. So you don't have to you can take them off by just sort of unhooking them, if you know what I mean. But that's a lovely piece. That turned out well. Right, so originally in the car we had the mirror motors. We had a connector that looked a bit like this. And we had different ways of wiring things up. Some of these that's got 5 conductors going to that motor. This has an electric motor and a solenoid to change direction, and a switch and a joystick. Yeah. Now these are very hard to get in good condition. They're very expensive, and I didn't want to go that way. I wanted to go a more standard way. The newer ones. This is off the Toyota, same as the Fairlane's one. 2 motors, yes, 3 wires, that's it, okay? So the mirror's trajectory can be just changed by each of these operating. Now that newer system, 3-wire system with the 2 motors, is pretty much the standard now. I think that would have changed somewhere around the 80s, in the mid to late 80s, I'm not sure. But we need to change what we're doing to go from this system to that one using a different switch. Now these are Ford switches, that's a new one I bought, and I can't use it. This is EFEL type thing. Same pinouts as, pardon me, is that XH? I don't even know. but because we're using a different pod, yes, it is kind of the same shape. It's the same moulding that's made it, but this has a little insert and it's just easy to use this. I can't use this because it's designed for the switch to go this way, which I could use, but it means I'm going to be looking at it upside down. I didn't want to do that. So this came with this switch, which fits in and is hunky-dory. It's the right way up when it's in there, and we're good. We haven't got a switch that's separate. It's the same as the later one where we just go left and right and then have our joystick here. This is the same as the modern one, as this one. Inside it, the tracks are differently laid out because it's a mirror. It's rotated, and so therefore I think, I could be wrong, it's doing a different job. So our little bridges, each of these little bridges looks like a little barbell in each one. They're joined, those two balls are joined, there's two tiny springs behind them, so it's good to keep as spare parts, but that is a different board, yes? So primarily I think because it's mounted upside down. Did that just drop out? No, we're good. Yes, it did. Damn. If only I could see. There's the little barbell thing. Damn it, I cut my fingernails. Can you see it? Superb. Now, there's a... You gotta be kidding me, right? Oh, they didn't come out, thank goodness. There's the two little springs in there. Barbell sits on top and that gives it spring tension against the board. Yes? I'm keeping this as a spare. It was just on the end of a wiring loom, and it's a good thing to hang on to. So we're not using that. We're not using that. They can go back in its new box, which cost me like 20 bucks or something. 40 bucks, I think. They charged me here for postage. We're going to use this, and we've got to work out how to adapt the new wiring to the old. So what I've done is I've taken this out of an AU. Yes? So when we plug that in the back, there's only one conductor not there, so it's got 7 conductors. This one's not occupied in the corner, so it goes in this way. Yes? And then what we've got to do is work out what they all do. 3 violets, 2 pale blue, or 2 blues, red and black. You would think that's power, that's earth, red being power, black being earth. You've got to assume that nothing's going to make sense because I know in, I think it was the XW, all the power feeds were brown. Go figure. Now, one thing to note with these violets, one of them has a red trace on it. All these wires have little silver bands. You can ignore that, but the violet one with the red trace is quite important, so we leave that to the side. I'm going to just take some insulation off these. This is the one with the red trace. That is the common that goes to the mirrors. So it might be positive common or negative common. I've not the foggiest notion. Oopsie, hang on. That always happens when I don't clean it properly. I'm just going to take these off and hope for the best. Maybe we should just use this as side cutters, but since I bought this thing from J-Car's great for getting some electronic tools, because you can use them. Now I'm fussy with these power mirrors. I think it's a really good modification to put on any car. My XD is a Falcon GL belly button pack, and those things have a terrible designed mirror mechanism, which is a joystick essentially, like most of them. But the joystick is connected to a flat bit of plastic that's got a tearing, a very fine plastic hinge that just tears. And so you end up with a mirror that doesn't adjust properly, and the joystick that flaps around in the breeze. It is a good modification to do to a car like an XD, because that's a very unobtrusive thing where the joystick on one side is, the other side's just solid, no joystick on that side either, and all you're doing is just making a loom out of a bit of 5-cord trailer wire. And it only needs to be really cheap, light duty trailer wire too, because there's no current in this. It's only operating a couple of little hobby motors, so there's no danger with it. And all you're doing is you're sniffing around for an earth. It's pretty heavy, pretty easy in a steel frame car, and looking for a positive, a switched positive, what do you call it? On the accessory side of the fuse box, which is just underneath it anyway. Right, so testing all these with a meter, we can go to continuity. We can go into the power feed, yes, and we can test each of these, and these do exactly what that diagram says. Left up and down, right up and down, right and left and left on the left and right mirrors. And you're just operating the switch. Which one's that? Left, left and right. So if I go over to left, that's left. Hang on. Left. It's only showing up left, but if I reverse the polarity, this is the right, so on the left it doesn't work. Turn it to right, we got it again. And so this is the up and down one, so you're just going up and down with that. So we know that's the direction side, and it's how the power is distributed. Right, so we've got the common in the middle, the red one, brown and purple, either side of that. Let's make it really clear for everyone to see. So that's the red for the center. And then one white one for one blue side. And you can work this out before you actually, I've got to buy plugs. So 3-pin plugs, or 3-position plugs. No, 3-pin plugs for the, what's it called? For each of the mirrors in the Fairlane. This is the red trace. The red trace one, I think, is the battery voltage. It's there. And then the black one should be the black one on here, and we hope we don't blow it up. So, black, which is left. Hang on a minute. That's left. Alright, let's just put that on. Okay, left, up, down, left, right. That's cool. So these two, just going to unhook that, I know these two are for the left. So I'm just going to put them together. Now if I then put these ones on here, and I don't know the proper order yet, but it's a start. And then connect up that power again. Make sure I've got that well out of the way of everything. Yes. And then I put the switch, okay, to right. We're golden. And then in off, it doesn't do anything. Sweet. All right, so that's very successful. We know a few things by this. We know that these two are the rights. Oh no, not that one. These two here are the right hand side. So that's right. Oh, we knew that anyway. I just did it wrong before. Right, so this is what we've ended up with, and I didn't make it pretty because I lost the correct gauge of wire. I've got a roll of the red wire, the same gauge as these, and I couldn't find it. Soldered this in. They're looking for something else, I found it. So, nice. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What I've done is I've taken that red wire and I've split it. So right mirror, left mirror. The red is the common. Each one has a violet and a blue. Now, they're not marked. So you do have to run power to see exactly which one's going where by way of that switch. Yeah. The other violet has a red trace. If you look very carefully, I'm not sure if it's focusing. That is your ignition power. That is your earth, your ground. Yeah. So that's as simple as it gets. Okay. Now, the left one is going to be hardwired into the car, into the loom in the door, because the switch can be taken out via a plug there. The mirror will have a Molinex on it. Yeah, a Molinex plug. So the mirror can be taken off, and then that'll be hardwired in, and then the other side will have another Molinex. So it'll be as good as gold. So in the car, there is a 6-conductor loom going down. Two of those are for these. One is switch power, and the other's a ground. And then there are 4 that go from the right side to the left side. Of those 4, I'm only going to be using 3. Low light. Okay, I might have to get the car outside. I'm going to do a little mock-up wiring job now. There's the original loom there. I've cut the plug off. So I've got to make sure nothing shorts. Connect a battery, test each mirror. I've got to do a continuity test over there. There's a plug hanging just below the glove box. And then I'll know if I'm on the right track. Right, so we've got a mess here. That one over there is working quite well. Have I connected the battery? Hang on a sec. I think there's a problem with the motor on the driver's side. Here we go. Let's try that. So, looking at that mirror there. Hang on, I'm on the right side. So in, out, down, and up. All good. This one isn't working properly. There's a problem with it. Yet, that Corolla one does work properly. So I might just change the motor out. What I've done is I've taped it into the old loom. That blue wire is surplus. That's from the old wiring loom. It's the original loom. With this sort of loom I've made up to fit in here. And then that guy will go there. On the other side, this is all sorted. I've just got a Molex plug there. And, whatever. I'm looking for the steel bit here, because after I've got that, I should be able to... I've got to change that door handle and put the lock in, and then we should be good. No, I didn't buy myself a new watch. This is Global Trim. I'll show you what I mean. Forward badge for the boot lid. Don't bother buying the cheap ones you see on eBay. I bought 2 of them and they're wrong. They're the wrong colour, the wrong border, and in some cases the wrong font. So Global Trim are expensive. Like their packaging's like this. They individually heat seal all the parts you buy, but this stuff's good. So I bought that. That's a grommet for the wiper on the scuttle. I needed more of these female door trim clips and the C12 buckle things. That little lot was over $100. Like you pay, I think it was 38, that was 13, don't know. And these like $50. Like they're not, it's not a cheap place. I've also been on to Graphics Unlimited now. These have been stuck on with sort of third party, double-sided, and they're pretty mangy. We'll wash these up, and Graphics Unlimited sell the stickers that go over the brushed aluminium sticker to make them look new again. They're for the front guards. I need to source another one for the boot lid too. Good news and bad news. The good news is Jason's fixed up these frames beautifully. Really happy with the work. He's also supplied some of this black stuff for protection of the springs. The bad thing is the bit that I'm responsible for and that I didn't tell him. The listings are all rotted, the wire listings, so it's not pulled down. It should be pulled down there and there. See, it's all sort of up. And look, I was always going to, have seat covers on it. But I'm just bummed I didn't get that fixed because it does look a bit odd. It looks a bit round at the top, where it should, be pulled in a bit. It's pulled in there, but all these just broke out. Look at the other cover. This is the driver's one, and they're all, where you put the wires, they're all gone. And I should have asked him to do that, but I didn't because I'm a clot. But, look, what are you doing? You can't do much about it. No crying over spilled milk. Interestingly, this is the Falcon GL seat fabric they used to use, which I always detested because it was like a carpet, almost. It wasn't very plush at all. Anyway, it is what it is. When the backrest is on, maybe that'll improve it, hey? We'll see. It should be quite comfortable though. I'll tell you what, I never lose parts until this car. I have a list of all the things that I've lost. And I think I've lost the list. Okay, we've got a couple of things to do. Given that this car had water ingress, I don't know if they're the runners that came off it. They're pretty mangy though. Let's do something about cleaning these up. I think they're the right runners. That doesn't look right. What's going on with that? Is that supposed to have a foot on it? Don't know. I want to put the seats in today. But of course, we have manginess. That doesn't look like the right one. That could be out of Daniel's car. The runner itself doesn't look too bad, but it's rusty around the bottom. So I've just attacked the rust and cleaned it up with that. We'll clean these up, and I've just painted the bottom parts. And when we put new buttons in, they'll look as good as new. I've got the front bumper. Check this out. So here it is in all its ugly glory. That's not going to be easy to paint. Someone's put armor or something on that. We do have this trim. You get replacements of that, but I was wondering if that aluminium tape on there and sort of buffed would turn out alright. There's a gazillion sort of self-tappers in there holding it together. And that's fiberglass, which I didn't know. So, I have to paint this. What I'll do, I've got to go up to the other place this coming weekend. I'm hoping the weather's going to suffice. This 302 and that engine crane are going. I'm going to clean all this up. They're going for the XA. I've got to fit up the back before I start cutting it up so I know I'm cutting in the right spot, or at least welding in the right spot. And I've also made up a wooden blank to go over where the carburetor is, wrap it all in plastic, because if it rains I don't want any water getting anywhere near it. So I'm hoping to take that this weekend, and then mount it up on the engine stand. I've got the manual bell housing. I'll put a drive plate on it. I've got a spare drive plate, and I'll put a sandwich plate on just for the hell of it, I suppose. I don't know if I've got bell housing bolts up there or they're down here. I've got to find those. Where's this list? I wrote a list. I still haven't finished cleaning up. Oh, I can only find these powder coated single groove pulleys, and the box was wet. Can you see just how beautiful they are? They're like brand spanking new. They haven't been on an engine, but I don't want to use those. I've got an alloy set. So I'll pack those up again. So this garage is a real mess. I'm going to do a bit more of a clean up today. I've got some bits to get rid of too. Got that for the XC. I've got those scuff plates from the Fairlane. Set of black door handles, interior door handles I don't want. Set of, whoa. The other one's still in the car. What do you call them? The window cranks. They're XA. That looks like a Tirana, but I don't know what that is. But you know what? I've never long-term lost parts, but this car I have, and it's irking the snot out of me because two lower screen mouldings, corner mouldings. That was Dale Tonkin sent me these ones. So thanks, Dale. The others haven't turned up yet. Left-hand guard brace. It goes out to the side and braces the bumper bar and everything. I only got one of them plated, so I lost it before I even got this one plated. I don't know what happened to that. The Ford grill badge I put on the bench and never turned up again. Both front seat pockets for the front seats, obviously. No idea. And I've gone through every car here. Fuse cover, the under dash cover for the Fairlane, and the left-hand speaker bracket. The steel bit that goes around that thing there. I was going to put the speakers back in, but I'm not. I'm just going to strap the grills to the door trims. I'll put those shells in as a waterproofing thing and walk away. So the only thing I haven't done is gone right through that EJ, but the rest of the place I've gone through. I've gone through that shed, I've gone through that shed. Every box, can't find, but I've missed them. They have to be in here somewhere. Just slowly repairing these runners, or cleaning them up. Am I in focus? These long bolts are the ones that quite often aren't long enough because they break. You can get kits of these about $60 or something. There's no shortage of the shorter ones. I've just used a Bunnings 8mm, 125 metric, and I'd use a 5/16 course, but they had them there and there's plenty of metric in the car. So I'm going with that. It costs like $1. Right, just putting these seats back together. I've cleaned up the runners. Probably should have lubricated them, but this is the passenger seat. It's good. The other seat's wrong. It's not even sitting in the car straight. I'm going to have to pull it out again, and I still haven't found these pockets. You got to put these in sort of first at the bottom, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, you scratch all your scuff plates and everything. Oh, I didn't get the nuts. Hang on a minute. Ah, stay there. There we go. So, I'll show you the back first. Lovely. Just got to put the seat belt in. And I'll work out a quicker or easier way of doing those orange buttons. That seat looks crooked. That one doesn't. So, but sitting in it, oh, what do I have to do? I have to buff out that door, put the exterior lock on, and that's the steel thing down there that I'm missing. That bit. But I don't think it matters. I can make something up there. I'm not going to put the speakers back because I blocked off the holes. This is all dusty and dirty and horrible, but it's really shaping up to be the car I wanted, you know. A lovely old sort of V8 cruiser. I'm really, really happy with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Take good care of yourselves. Enjoy a classic, and I'll see you soon. Oh, dark in here. I haven't bothered putting the lights on yet. Organising bits. Here, I've just done the lawn. I have done the lawn. I'm running this thing too. Look, the lawn. Oh, look at that lawn. Right, so that thing in the summer I'm going to have to repaint it. I'll bring this home. It's a sort of a spare car. I should bring the Starley over there because I want a roadworthy and put it on club permit. I also want to buff it. It comes up like a mirror. It comes up beautifully. I've also got to repaint. No, it's just dust. The top of this car where it was damaged from the car covers. It comes up presentably, but I do want it to look a lot nicer than it does. It's a beautiful colour, that nutmeg. But again, you know, paint the boot lid, paint the bonnet, paint the roof. Maybe the tops of the guards to blend it, buff out the sides. It'll come up beautifully. I painted this 15 years ago, but I did put too much paint on because I made a mistake, and it's crow's footed, so that's all got to come off. I've got to also see the concreter. I need that concreted because I want that XA, the sedan, on the rotisserie. I'm starting on that as soon as I get that concrete done. So I'm just warming this up because it's been run for a while. And, oh, this Commodore needs a service too. I've left the keys at home though, I haven't got them with me. I bought 20 litres of this, it's a synthetic oil. I don't normally use synthetics. Castrol Edge 530, so I bought that for the Commodores. The ex-wife's Commodore, which I serviced last time I was here. My SS needs a service. It's a 20 litre drum and it was $200 or $220, a lot cheaper than buying it 5 litre drum. So I think the Nissans use something like that as well. I'm not sure. I do have to verify that. So, you know, it's all good. This bloke should be heating up by now. Look how dusty it is. Drives beautifully. I've got to do shocks in this and the other Corolla too. Yeah, that's right. So I'm pretty happy with it all. Looking good. Right, so we just assembled Mark Beer's roof rack, and it's good news. So on our wagon, everything looks all right here until you get to the back. and it's rusted through. So Mark's is a tiny bit narrower, but it doesn't matter because this is, I would cut this up here, weld around it, metal finish it sort of thing. Maybe even get it replated, but it's a little bit narrow, but it's exactly the same brand. If you look at the feet on it, put that the wrong way, that would have been the original front one, but you can see it's identical. So I can replace that whole section, and it's dented there, so I'd be inclined to join it somewhere up here because that corner there is good. The skates on this car, if you look in the center, are dented. One of them was quite a pronounced dent, this one here. If you look at that, it's all sort of pulled in, and marks are identical length and so forth. So true to what we hoped, we can make a good roof rack out of the two. That's just scratched. The corners are good. I'd be inclined to change those fasteners. We'll have to remove the old one anyway to paint the roof, but this is looking really, really terrific. So a bit of steel wool will probably bring that back, but they're not rusted through. The bulk of the water from the way the car's been parked has gathered in this corner, and that's what has exacerbated the rust issue. And they're fitted the same way, so it's just a matter of undoing those two inner bolts in there, the two rearmost ones, and working on it that way. So that's actually a really, really good result. But needless to say, that's going to be a winner. So we'll take all these off, take that off, pick the best of what we got, and fix this rear rail, and we're good. Because I do want to put that back. I really do like the look of it. I've got the cut for that too. I'm not allowed to do this until I start on that sedan. That's the big one. I've just spoken to the concreter. He's away until the end of August. So I've got to call him back at the end of next month, and I'm going to arrange for that to all be concreted. It's about the cost I would have expected anyway. The other thing we've got to do, I've got to arrange some of this stuff. It's a bit of a mess here. I want to put the sedan and the wagon and everything longitudinally, and the Commodore as well. It's going to afford me a bit more room and make the rotisserie, which will be sort of in the centre here, easier to sort of access, or at least off to the side a little bit. But again, I think I mentioned in a past video, I'm going to do some of these repairs before I put it on the rotisserie because I don't want the car. Basically, the problem we've got is there's no structure at the top where it's joined, where the sort of whole front end is joined onto the bulkhead. So I need to fix all that up to strengthen it because it's good around the torque boxes, but there's nothing holding it together up here. So I need to get that all sorted, then put it on the rotisserie. What else? So I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way. That engine stand has got to come out because I'm going to bring that little 302 up next time, and I'd like to mount it on here. I'm just going to make sure I've got there's some Clevo mounts, so I might weld those. They're a bit sad and sorry. Stick that 302 up here. I've got to bring the engine crane up here too. But I've not really organised this place. It's just been a dumping ground for now. There's the new boosters. I'll talk about those in a moment. My brother arranged for those to get done and did a sterling job. Do I owe him money? He paid for the wagon, the sedan one. I paid for the wagon one. I think I paid him back. If you see this, John, let me know. I'm not sure, I can't remember. So this is a bit manky. Next time I take this out, I'll give it a good wash. I've got a brand new cover for it in that box there, and that will keep it nice and clean. I'll buy a couple of cotton covers as well. I want to cover this thing up and so on. This style is fantastic. I built this for my mum to carry my mother around in it because the wider doors, being a two-door one, she could access a lot more easily. Turns out we didn't really use it much for her. A little bit maybe, but not as much as what I thought we would. So, but it looks dull. It's horrible. It's been out in bright sun for ages since I first did it, so it's due for a buff, and then it'll stay nice and shiny. Yeah, it's pretty dull, but we'll get that back, make it look like a new car again. Anyway, I think what we'll do is going to move a bit of stuff around. I like it up here. It's so serene. So hang on, let me work this out. End of August. Let's say he gets here end of September. That's the third term holidays. That'd be fantastic. because then I can come up here. I've got to take this front wall off. And it's got that weed guard stuff there at the bottom. So I've got to take that whole front wall off before he concretes, because he's got to concrete up to there. I'm hoping he puts starter bars in to tie the new slab to the original one. There is a slight, it's slightly lower in that centre section, but I don't care. Yeah, it's shouldered there. It's curved just at that bit there. But we'll continue that out. If we can get it done for the start of those holidays, that's great, because at the end of the holidays, I'll clad all this, and then we're in business. We can start doing some proper work over the next summer. Because in the springtime, between those times when it's laid to where we fit it out, I've got to do work on the... I want to get the Fairlane and the XC going. Anyway, let me just clean some of this mess up. Through boxes and boxes of sort of fasteners and bits and pieces I bought up here for the XAs. There's brake calipers, there's a box full of fasteners there, there's another box under there. Just stuff everywhere, all up there, all up there. So I've been just reconditioning these or plating them, and then putting the springs back in for the locks and also the handle part. I've done 3 right end fronts. The best of the stuff's going on the sedan. The second class stuff's going on the wagon. In this case, that'll probably just get flogged off. But that does say 30th 72, 30th week, 1972. That's the only one that's branded like that. So I've got 3 right-hand fronts, 2 right-hand rears, and 1 left-hand rear. So I need both left-hand fronts and a left-hand rear to complete the set, which I'll have at home. Brake booster action. My brother John had these sent away. To be reconditioned. Now, I was going to do them, but I never got around to it. He just said, look, his work uses a joint in Queensland, and I got a bit mixed because the guy that I used to use for the 2 other Fords, the XW and XC, I think the XW's boost was $200 or something. The XC's was 300 or 280 or something. It had gone up by the time I did that, which is fine. And then when I rang him back, he goes, look, probably about $800, because, I mean, who else is doing it? And that annoyed me, because I thought, well, that's just saying, you know, we're going to charge what we want. So I thought, no. And look, I don't mind spending money for good quality work. I haven't got a problem with that. But if I know I'm basically getting rear-ended, I'm not so keen. So there were 2 boosters sent away. The wagons, this one actually looked better than the sedans in terms of its overall condition. So let's see what they look like. And in the bag. So look, this one, which looks reasonably lovely. It comes with a little boot, and they've replaced that gland in there and put a new thing on. We're not going to press it, obviously. The nuts are there. It's got the little for the vacuum nose. So that's all good. I'll just unwrap the second one. We'll have a look. As we assumed, they're both exactly the same. This one here has a better fitting gland there, so I'll use that in the sedan. This one I'll have to meddle with a bit. It looks like, I don't know if it fits just underneath there where it's bent, but it doesn't look to be as fitting quite as well. Now, I'll use that in the wagon. I'll meddle with that one, but that can go in the sedan. Right, so John's going to get that one back. The car will be reassembled at his place. I'll do the bodywork here. All the welding and the fixing it up, and give him the car with all the doors on, painted up and all this sort of stuff. He's using disc brakes on the back on his 9-inch. This one is just using, the wagon will just use drums. And I've still got the old Master, which is completely knackered, but it's still got that switch in it wherever it goes. Just to verify that fits, and that does look fine. So cool. I'll keep that one here because the wagon will be built here. Right, so I just want to show you some of these old parts that it came with. In fact, these boosters were cheaper than the other joint. They weren't dead cheap, they were dirt cheap. They were still $900 for the 2. One was $400, one was $5. There's the old diaphragm out of one of them. I don't know which one that is. The guy also said, don't throw these out. Now, he did replace the housings because he had some new ones. And I think they were original, I'm not sure, but I've kept that. That's got a bent stud because of obviously the tool he used to take it off. What's in here? Now, I gave John $400. I can't remember what that one is. I looked through the video, but I'm tipping that was the sedan. The wagon one didn't look as buggered. He has actually cut this. That can be repaired, but it's pretty stuffed. Hang on a minute. Yeah, so there's one whole housing, and that, oh yeah, it's got that back plate on it. That's that part there. I'm not sure why or what was replaced with these or which ones they were from. That looks like it just fits in there. So, are these off the same unit? So, I don't know which one. I'll look through the videos because I think it's only fair that I pay him what he's owed. But if that's off this car, I'll give him another $100. But I think that looks, I think the one off this car looked cleaner. There might be one off each. I don't know. But he said, for heaven's sake, don't throw those out because they don't make them anymore. Where these came from, I think the wagon, they work. This one's got one of the old XY types. That's nice, isn't it? And that should, so it's the centre belt, is it? I'm going to try and keep the back seat belts, the rear belts, in this car. The sedan will probably get brand new ones in front and rear, but this one I just want to get, I'll probably get some non-genuine sort of aftermarket-y front ones. But I've got that, that's the centre, that's the centre, that's centre. And these must be the same. So that one works, and that one works. We'll wash it and put some stickers on it, should be good. That'll be the front, which I don't reckon we need because I'll buy new ones. That's the floor brace I bought. This car was a bench seat car originally. The sedan's already got a floor brace. I saw a TF Cortina gear, manual one, 2 litre. And I've never been a Pinto engine fan, but I've got the Fairlane's 250 and I've got that manual bell housing. It's tempting, but no, I don't think I'll do it. I'm too poor. I've spent too much money. I have to keep an eye on the weather. If we've got a fine weekend next weekend, I'm on holiday at the moment, I'll bring that 302 and I'll stick it up on this stand. I've sort of pseudo-organised this. I've just got to organise that box. The booster's there, parts are up there. You know, I know exactly what's in what box and what I need to bring next time. There's the, I got that from a guy, a Queensland guy, and people used to bag him, but I've got a new old stock driving light switch for the XD, and that's the proper driving light bracket. Somebody said they had a grill, which I wouldn't mind buying.